And we are live. Thank you guys for joining us for this special edition of the Acquired Taste podcast. Today's guest host here is going to be the one and only Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio, and also the host of the one and only Locked On Spurs podcast. Jeff, thank you for filling in today.
Not a problem, guys, and thank you all for coming into the MJ Acquired Taste YouTube show. Joe mentioned I'm filling in for Mike Jimenez. Joe, did you know the reason why Jimenez is out is because he's getting ready for Fiesta 2023? Did you know that? He's getting the chicken on the stick ready. He's getting all his Fiesta because he loves Fiesta Week, doesn't he? I mean, I'm trying to salvage his San Antonio card right now.
Yeah, man, he's probably getting ready for Fiesta, trying to go ahead and learn how to cook chicken on a stick, how to eat it right, the etiquette. You got to stack the cups, so he's getting in his Fiesta.
Got to stack the cups,
yeah.
Yeah, he definitely is. But Jimenez will be back soon. He's just taking care of some stuff. So I'm going to fill in for today's show. So what are we talking about today? We're going to do a little Cowboys talk, a little college football talk, obviously a lot of Spurs talk. And Joe, I'm going to save this pop culture / nerd debate for later on in the show. The big one. We're going to go back to 1986, Optimus Prime versus Megatron, the movie fight. Who really won that fight? Let's just say, Joe, that fight and who won causes so much nerd fighting, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And it's a good thing that you're doing this on a day that Mike isn't here because knowing him, he'd get cooked, dude.
I can do it because I appreciate the movie, but Mike would just be all lost and know what's going on. He'll just say, like, I don't know, some big robot came and he did this. Oh, it's garbage. I will never say it's garbage. That is sacrilegious. But make sure to subscribe to Locked On Spurs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. You find my show on YouTube, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app. The list goes on and on. As a matter of fact, Joe, the Locked On Spurs episode for today actually debuted at the same time right now. So it's available right now. We're going to be talking about on that show, the Tony Parker Hall of Fame induction. And then on this show, we're going to continue that chat about Parker entering the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to ask, where does he rank point guard wise among the best PGs in Spurs history? We'll see if Joe disagrees with some of my candidates for that. But Joe, first of all, how are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good, man. And we also, you know what? We got to give a shout out to everyone who's joining us here as part of the discussion on the Acquired Taste podcast. Shout out to Alonzo Alvarado, Charlie Hernandez, Jason Garcia, my boy. What's up? We got.
By the way, Tim Gonzalez. No, I made sure to not get food delivered to me in the next
No,
hour and a half
we're
on
not gonna be
purpose.
privy to the silver
I
platter.
am not gonna fall for that trick again. Well, self-inflicted. That was self-inflicted. So for those of y'all who don't know why I get this whole beef about the steak and everything, Jimenez and I did a Zoom chat. We were just catching up, chit chatting. So rather on the phone or texting, hey, let's just talk for a while. I forgot that I had an Uber Eats delivery and
Forgot.
didn't think that Jimenez would say anything when lo and behold, a steak appeared on the screen. I knew at the moment, Joe, that Jimenez started laughing and smiling that I was done. I knew it at that point. I'm done. I'm
You
never
knew.
gonna live this down. And I ate it in front of him too. At that point, I was really all in. So I said,
Out of it,
I
Joe.
ain't gonna stop.
You knew at that point you had effed up.
Man, did I? Did I? Man, I know you get that graphic that pops up all the time. Every time my name is
Hold up,
see,
hold
here
up.
we go.
Speaking of the
How about
graphic,
you
man.
don't play it? How about you do not
No,
play it?
man. Just for you,
Here we
Jeff.
go. No, no,
Just
there's
for
no
you,
just
man.
for
We
me.
upgraded the
No.
graphic, and I knew you were coming, so I did something special. Something
Yeah,
special,
how
special
funny
for
is
you.
this? Yeah. Yeah, let's see it.
Added to it, man. And look at what we did. We added your
Oh,
gold
not the
chain.
steak.
You have the
No.
diamond ring, and now
Take
you have
it
the steak on the
down.
platter, and you have a
No.
golden chalice.
Wait. First of all, I think that goblet is pretty cool. Know what that reminds you of? Indiana Jones. Remember, you have chosen wisely. But
Yeah,
the
that's your
point
goblet,
is
brother.
that goblet needs to go. That whole photo needs to go right now. Go back to its original look. It's just me on a news deck talking about the
No, man. The
Spurs.
legend that is Jeff Garcia has to grow. And as the Moneybags acronym starts gaining more and more steam here, more
No,
fire,
no, no. It needs to
it's
stop
gonna
getting
get
steam.
better. It's gonna get better.
No, it needs to get stop getting
Yeah.
steam.
And look at
Joe,
Daniel Castro. He says,
yeah.
"Is this the $800 hoodie that you're wearing
It's
today?"
not an $800. Oh my! I mean, I can't wear anything. Look! A generic hat that I got from the Spurs shop.
No,
See. Easy,
no,
easy.
don't let him fool you, man. You know he paid
No,
some big coin for that hat.
I did not pay big coin for that, but we'll definitely be talking about Spurs in a while. Again, we'll be focusing on Tony Parker. And if you're just joining us again, in case you're looking for Mike Jimenez, he's out today. He'll be back soon. I am just filling in for him for today alongside with Joe Garcia. But Joe, let's talk some college football. How about
Yeah,
that?
so go
What
ahead
you
and
got?
show the
What you got
graphic.
cooking for us?
So Brett McMurphy, man, Associated Press here. He went ahead and released his top 25. He says it's my preseason
Mm-hmm.
AP top 25 ballot. But I'm going to go ahead and go down the list here because some of these are kind of interesting, man. So the top 25 college
Yeah.
football, list here is number 1 Georgia. No, there's no surprise there. You got Michigan at number 2, 3 Florida State, number 4 Ohio State, number
Mm-hmm.
5 Alabama, number 6 Mike's favorite LSU.
Oh, look at that.
Washington's at number 7. You got Penn State at number 8, Oregon at number 9, Clemson at 10, and then the team that Jimenez says is not a sexy team by any means. They're boring. Texas Tech, man. Lo and behold,
Oh, look at that.
they're at number
Look, I
11.
mean, I don't think anybody should be surprised that Georgia's number one, right? I mean, they're the defending
Yeah,
champs, so yeah,
yeah.
they get it. But LSU,
Number
hmm,
6.
number 6.
Yeah.
Think it's a little high for them, all
No,
things considered.
I think they're right where they need to be, man. They can probably move up depending on what type of season they're going to have, but I think they're
Right.
sitting right where they need to be. And then,
But here's the thing, too. You don't have to be a sexy team, though. I mean, you
no,
just got to get the
got to
job done.
win.
If you get dirty wins, so be it. You get dirty wins. But the point is that for LSU to be in top 6, again, it is preseason poll. Obviously, this is going to do major shakeups. But Joe, I'm gonna probably piss off Jimenez here. I don't think they stay top 10.
No, man. Jimenez is probably getting mad right now and ready to throw his phone at you.
He's probably throwing his chicken on the stick on the floor right now.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask you though, Joe, do you really take these polls with the grain of salt? I do. Because it doesn't matter if you're doing power rankings or coaches poll or player polls that we see in the NBA or NBL, whatever it is, it never works out that way. It never works out that way.
Yeah. And these are just the writers that write for the AP, the Associated Press.
Yeah.
This is one of them. He has a huge following on Twitter. But the official AP preseason poll will be released Monday at noon Eastern time, which is 11 our time. But let me finish going down the list
Oh, go
here.
ahead.
So we finished, we had stopped at number 11, which was Texas Tech. Number 12 is Notre Dame or Notre Dame, however you want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And if number 14, you have USC, to no surprise there. Number 15, Tennessee. 16, Louisville. 17, Ole Miss. 18, UNC. 19, UCLA. And at 20, you have Texas, man. How the mighty have
Wow,
fallen, dude. They haven't done much.
that they have.
Yeah. At number 21, Tulane. 22, Utah, another team Mike said was not sexy. 23, Wisconsin. 24, another team Mike said not good things about, Auburn. And
Yeah.
25, another team he said not good things about, Illinois. So is
You, you,
Mike
you,
that bad, or, what's going on here, Jeff?
I'm gonna save his butt right now and say that his picks are okay for now because it is just preseason. But I gotta ask, is UTSA being overlooked right now?
They probably are. And you know what? You have another uh, comment here coming from Mike Bias from Bear County Social Apparel.
Yeah.
UTSA snubbed.
Yep.
Yeah, they're snubbed. They're still one of these teams that kind of
Yep.
fly under the
I
radar.
agree.
They're getting respect. They're getting that national notoriety, now. But I think they still have some things to prove. And if they go ahead and actually win something
Mhm.
here as far as the bowl games, that might be something that you can go ahead and put in the discussion of, hey, you need to put them in the top 25. And we here
You
in
know
San
what?
Antonio know how special
Right.
UTSA is, and now they're coming into this new conference. I think it's
Mhm.
going to be able to showcase what the team's really capable of and really put them in that spotlight. So I'm excited for UTSA.
I like what Tim Gonzalez said in the chat room. LSU, what was it? LSU versus FSU,
Yes.
Sunday night. That is a
ABC.
big game. That really will tell us where LSU stands. Are they top six worthy? They should, be competitive against FSU, but we shall see. But there it is, everybody. The coaches, well, the preseason coaches, or AP poll, excuse me,
AP poll.
right here on MJ Acquired Taste. You know what? I don't mind watching college football. It just never was my thing. But one thing I do like are the Dallas Cowboys, the pro side of things. And I know they haven't won like nothing in the last decade or so, but I've been watching a lot of the training camp. I've been watching a lot of footage from training camp, all the fighting, Dak Prescott and
Trayvon
what's his
Diggs,
name and the
Dak.
whole trade, all that stuff. But I always thought the best or the most important position is the quarterback.
Oh, no.
But Dak hasn't really mounted too much. He has
You mean,
numbers,
what do you mean?
but
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth now.
what I gotta ask you, as somebody who kind of trailed off in the Cowboys because they've been losing a lot lately, is Dak overrated? Are we giving him too much flowers?
Oh man, see the thing is that Dak is always going to be, I think,
Yeah,
not only rated but graded by Spurs let's say Cowboys fans, should I say, not
right.
Spurs fans, Cowboy fans, on how well he performs in the biggest games. And
Mhm.
so far the Cowboys' biggest games are going to be the playoffs. Or their appearances that they've
Yeah.
had in the playoffs with one Dak Prescott at the helm. When Dak Prescott has led the Cowboys into the playoffs,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna be frank here, they've shit the bed. He's proven that he
That's my
can't win
point.
at the biggest, at the
That's my
when the
point.
lights shine the brightest. You know,
That's my point. If Jerry Jones is all about the titles and getting them back to glory, and Dak is his man, how is Dak any better than previous quarterbacks that came before him? If still not even them could get to the promised land, and the Cowboys being the last team standing, and Dak is supposed to be all this and that among NFL quarterbacks. It just feels to me that it just feels like maybe he's getting overrated a lot. And yeah, I mean, should the next step in this Cowboys build, to get to the glory days, Joe, be looking at possibly better quarterbacks, whether it be the draft?
well, check this out. Went ahead and just went and did a quick search for Dak Prescott, and just look and see where they have a poll out, right? And they're saying,
Mhm.
hey, these are the top 10 quarterbacks going into the 2023 season, right? So I'm looking at this. Number one, they have Patrick Mahomes. Mahomie, it's my homie. That's what I call Patrick Mahomes. Then you have Josh Allen, and as Mike likes to point
Right.
out, he does throw a lot of interceptions, fumbles the ball quite a bit, but he's still one of the top quarterbacks. You have Joey Burrow, man, coming out of Cincy.
Yeah. That's a
You know,
that's a bad man.
that's a bad man right there. Yes, sir. You got Justin Hubert with the Chargers. You got Aaron Rodgers, of course, with the Jets at number 5. Number 6, Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. Number 7, Jalen Hurts of the Eagles. 8, you got Trevor Lawrence from the Jacksonville Jaguars. 9, Kirk Cousins, man. Kirk Cousins of the Minnesota
Mhm.
Vikings. And sitting at number 10, Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, but here's the thing, and Daniel Castro in the chat took my next question for you. It's something I want to chime in about: is could Dak win on another team? I don't think he could. Haven't the Cowboys had pretty good defenses around, on the team? Haven't they
They've
had some
had
of the
good,
best,
yeah, they've had great defenses.
weapons for Dak? I mean, prime Zeke, the wide receivers that he's had in his tenure with Dallas Cowboys, and still nothing. Like, when do we circle back to it's the quarterback? Like, when does that go back? Or is it really just coaching? Like, the coaching is not that great, from the current coach. I mean, it just feels like nothing can ever get right. It's either Dak, coaching, or something else. I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of things
Joe,
that
I
factor
don't know
in.
where to start. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where to start. Like, what's been wrong with the Cowboys? If on paper, seemingly on paper, year in, year out, they're poised to have a deep run, and yet nothing.
The biggest problem that's been with the Cowboys is they just don't have a coach that's worth the shit. They don't have a coach that can actually lead the team to greatness.
Mhm.
Basically what happens is that you have Jerry Jones always muddling with everything, messing with
Yeah.
things. He wants to be the guy that's pulling the strings, and he always appoints a coach that he can control. Basically, they're all Jerry's puppets. Whatever Jerry says, that's what they're going to do because they don't have the balls to go up against the boss man,
Mhm.
you know? So until Jerry finally decides just to be a owner and just sit up there in the box, just say good things
Yeah.
about your team, show up to the practices and support them, as long as he wants to have a hand in it, the Cowboys are always going to be their own worst enemy. And you can
Yeah.
also, the flip side of the coin is too, it's the culture that surrounds this team. They're always surrounded in drama. They're always getting in trouble. Something happens, and
But
before
that's
the
the thing.
preseason starts,
Even and it's not like it was like back in the day of the White House era. Remember those days with the Cowboys off the field. I don't think there's really been any type of major drama during Dak's tenure. If anything, it just comes down to building the team, getting the right coach, or maybe Dak isn't it. I want to look at some of the comments here. We're talking about this. Um, Robert Quintero says, like, have we looked into whether there's a possibility of a Cowboys curse? I guess kind of like the curse of the Bambino, all that stuff. Do you think
poltergeist.
there is a Do you think there is a Cowboys curse?
I don't think it's a
I don't
curse,
think
man.
there is. No, I don't think. I
It's
think it's
Jerry,
just,
man.
yeah. I mean, do you? Wow. I mean, could it really just come down to the owner?
It's
That's
the
it.
owner, brother. It's the owner.
Just the owner.
Ever since you can go back and look at the statistics, right? And ever since Jerry has taken over, the decline of the Cowboys and the number of Super Bowl appearances and playoff wins has been on the decline steadily.
Hmm.
While they've made some appearances as of this decade, in the playoffs, they haven't been able to win. When
Yeah.
it comes to the big game, man, you're going to be playing for the championship here, and then if you win
Hmm.
that, maybe you're going to be able to go to the Super Bowl. No, doesn't happen. You always have some type of disaster that goes down.
Yeah.
Look at what Aaron Rodgers did to the Cowboys, in the waning seconds or the waning minutes
Yeah.
of that game. They left too much time on the clock and he burnt them, man. They need to learn a few things here. And I don't think that it's ever gonna be their year until
Hmm.
something changes.
But that's what I hear year in, year out. I mean, last year, I heard, oh, it's their year. I mean, preseason Super Bowl picks. Oh, it's going to be Dallas. Year before that, the same thing. And then something always happens. And maybe there is a curse. Maybe there is a curse. Now that I think about it, perhaps there is. How many times have the Cowboys been looking so good and then something messes up? Like there's that one thing that just ruins them. And
Yeah.
it's always in when there's games that matter. They need a win to secure home field, they blow it. They need something to happen during a playoff game, they blow it. Wild card game, they blow it. It's always at the most inopportune time for this Cowboys team.
Yeah.
But you got to wonder, do you just change? Is it just simple as changing up ownership? I don't think it's just as simple as that. I think it's bigger than that. I think it is perhaps a time to start thinking about it maybe Dak ain't it. Maybe he's not it.
Well, Jerry
Was it?
He's held on to him too long.
Wasn't there? Wasn't that? You help me on this, Joe. Wasn't it not too long ago? Was the last draft or a couple drafts ago where there were some Cowboys fans asking this team to tank a bit so they can get a top pick, possibly a quarterback.
Yeah, there was some fans that wanted to get Jerry to draft a decent quarterback, and unfortunately, they got Dak instead. And of course, they drafted Micah Parsons, who's a freaking badass.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have that to look forward to as a Cowboy fan. You got Micah Parsons, and when the Cowboys were tanking hard. But the flip side of the coin is Dak is really not going to be able to lead this team. And even if they did get a quarterback, right? They got a really decent quarterback. I don't think this Cowboys team would still win any games when it came to getting beyond, the wild card games, in the playoffs and all that. I think the biggest problem with the Cowboys is just the Cowboys themselves in leadership. Again, it boils down to coaching. And, they've even gotten rid of their offensive coordinators, their defensive coordinators, bring in new coaches. And, I mean, they've done a number of things, and it's still you get the same result time and time again. So it just points to the one big problem there. And it's always leadership comes from the top, and it all points to Jerry Jones.
Yeah, all right. Let's look at some of the comments we're getting on the this topic here about Dak and the Cowboys. Is there a curse? I don't think there's a curse, but I don't think about it. There might be. From Bear County Social. Oh, sorry. What do we got? We got David. The only thing that Jerry Jones has done has increased the Cowboys' revenue. You know what? Can you believe they are still considered America's team?
They are America's team.
Can you
They bring in the highest ratings? They sell the most merch.
Is that true? Like legitimately, like factually true?
It's true, bro.
Really? Wow. And that's saying something, considering you had the Patriots era. Now you have Mahomes, and yet the Cowboys are losing left and right for decades, and that they're still bringing in that
Cowboy fan base is a rabid fan base. They're freaking loyal as hell, Jeff.
Yeah.
And they travel well. You'll see Cowboys fans going to every damn game across the nation. They're going to fill the arenas, the stadiums, Yeah. Cowboys fans got deep pockets, man.
Yeah, apparently they do. I heard about parking. I've never been to Jerry World, but I heard that parking is $100 sometimes.
Hundreds. Yes, sir. It's $100.
That is insane. By the way, Jason Garcia, I see your comment about no Texans, SAFA mission stop. Jimenez will take care of that later on. Hopefully this week. I'm pretty sure Joe and him we'll discuss that. Again, I'm just filling in for him for today due to some unforeseen circumstances for Jimenez. But Jerry wants to be on camera, Tim Gonzalez says, and everything you don't see the other owners in the NFL be on camera. They just sit in the box. About kind of goes back to what you said, Joe, that Jerry Jones wants to be this de facto GM, this de facto coach.
Since we're on this NFL talk, man, we got to go ahead and talk NFL preseason. So I went ahead and just, was looking at some of the stuff that was posted on Twitter, and lo and behold, what did we come up to?
What we got?
We have some news here, and let me go ahead and pull that here and put it on here. Give me a second.
The Joe working hard right there.
I am, dude. I'm looking. I got so many tabs open.
Joe. Joe, we should time him. See how long it takes for him to pull up a video.
There it is. I finally found it. I got so many tabs open. So we have
what we got
graphic here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on it a little bit. We got week 1 preseason games happening starting tomorrow, August the 10th. You got the Texans and Patriots at 7. Then the late games is the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks, the Sea Chickens, because I know my boy Jason Garcia is a big fan of the Seahawks. So they have the late game at 10. And all the games are going to be played on, most of them are going to be on NFL Network. And then Friday, you got the New York Giants and Detroit Lions. But to me, I think the big game here is going to be Green Bay and Cincy, man, the Cincinnati Bengals. That one's happening at 7 on NFL Network. And then, of course, you have Russell Wilson, man. The Denver Broncos going up against the Cardinals, the late game at 10. Let's ride.
I cannot believe NFL season's here. It just feels like yesterday, like it just ended. Yeah, and the time just goes by fast. But if you're looking at that preseason schedule, they got a lot of juicy games. Yeah, I mean, a lot of great games.
They got games on Saturday. Saturday is filled with games, man. Starting at 1 p.m., you have the Tennessee Titans against the Bears, and you have the Colts against the Buffalo Bills, the Jets going up against the Panthers, the Jaguars going against the Dallas Cowboys, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then you have the Eagles, the Lechuzas Cagadas, like I like to call them, going up against the Baltimore Ravens at 7. And then you have the Chargers going against LA at 9 o'clock. That's a late game. On Sunday, they have some good games on Sunday, man. Starting at
Yep.
1 p.m. You got the Kansas City Chiefs going up against New Orleans, the Saints at 1 p.m. Then you have the 49ers versus the Raiders at 4 p.m. And that rounds up your preseason week 1 of games here in the NFL. And then you got week 2 coming up again next Thursday here. You got some good games there. You got the Browns against the Eagles. You got the Panthers against the New York Giants, the Bears. I mean the Bengals against the Falcons here. And then you have on Saturday, see some of the better games here. I mean, you got some. You have like the Tennessee Titans against the Minnesota Vikings, the Chiefs against the Cardinals, and then again you got the Cowboys next Saturday playing the late
Mhm.
game. That one's going to be a late tip at 9. Cowboys versus the Seahawks again, and then again on Sunday you have the Saints against the Chargers. Then you have the Ravens against the Washington Football Club as a late game, and that game's going to be on ESPN. So that'll
You know, I
round up
I
your
I
week.
I can't forgive Washington for stealing the Commander's name. That still bothers me. I don't know why. To me, there's only the original San Antonio Commanders back in that day. But good slate of NFL games. The NFL is right around the corner. I know Dallas Cowboys fans are excited. Houston, Texas fans are excited for new. I think things are looking up for Houston right now. They really got themselves a squad, don't they?
Yeah, they do, man. This Houston Texans are going to be good this season. And I like the comment from the Drew Show. It's money bags, the styling, profiling, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, French steak on a silver platter, eating, son of a gun.
You know what,
You're doing it Ric Flair style. You got
Daniel
to go, woo.
Daniel Castro, know that parking at Jerry Road is not spare change for me. Stop it. Stop it. See, this is
100.
what Jimenez gets. I'm gonna get him back somehow, some way for causing this
I know you're
label.
going to give me,
I wish I was Moneybags. I wish I
yeah,
was,
I know you're going to give me
but
so much shit when you come back to San Antonio and we go somewhere and I pick you up in my car, you're gonna be like taking pictures or something, dude. I already know it.
of your car, yes, because
Yeah,
you got
I
yourself a
already know.
brand new car. So you're the one who's really money bags, not me. Once again, I am Jeff Garcia, your fill-in host for today, right here on MJ Acquire Taste YouTube show. Mike Jimenez is out today, taking care of some business. He'll be back soon. Joe and I are holding down the fort while Mike is out, and we're talking all things sports. We did a little bit of college football, got into deep into Dallas Cowboys talk, and some
NFL.
preseason NFL, all that good stuff. So it's getting to that point where this doldrum of the sports season is about to end very,
Yes, sir.
very fast. Yeah, but Joe, do you have any advertisers that we gotta give a shout
Yeah,
out
man.
to?
Our segue here. I'm not good at segues like Jimenez, man. Jimenez is on
Well,
point with it.
I'll just help you out. I'll just tell you, play them.
Yeah. So our first shout out that we're gonna give our first sponsor here. We're gonna go ahead and have MCS General Contracting.
MCS General Contracting. More than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They're the number right there, 210-774-9155. MCS, they say that they want to be the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business, you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, other concrete placement services, sidewalks, things like that. Reach out to MCS General Contracting, 210-774-9155. That's 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills. Chris Leha confident in his fantasy football prowess, if you will. Thank you for being a sponsor of our show. He does a fantastic job over there.
So there we go. Shout out to you.
All right.
MCS General
You know,
Contracting. The number's there, 210-774-9155. And like Mike likes to say, they have the hardest concrete in the business.
well, why do you have to emphasize that word hard though?
No, because Mike, it's a running joke with Mike,
Oh
man.
no, it's his.
Yeah.
Now that I'm filling in for him today, now's my chance to have some fun with Chris Leha. For me, he's still a traitor in my eyes. He did me dirty, Joe.
He
He
even
did me
says
dirty.
Jeff Garcia travels private. He probably does. He has a private plane.
No, I don't drive, but one day MCS will give some love to Los. One day, he did me dirty, Joe.
Daniel
He did
Costa.
me so dirty.
We'll still need
He
to
got me
address the
good.
bro code issue with Jimenez.
Oh, I had a private talk with him about that. I had a private talk about that. But for him to say like, "What's a bro code?" That bro code is sacred. I don't care if you're 10, 20, 30, 50 years old. You don't break bro code at all,
You know,
at all. Joe, you believe in bro code, right?
yeah, they said did Mike get stuck pouring concrete yesterday?
Yeah, no, right? Yeah, he
He's
probably
an
did.
indoor dog, man. Like he says, he's an indoor dog. He can't be outdoors, man. He can't handle that heat.
Yeah, I know. Well, a lot of stuff going on in the sports world, from NFL to Dallas to the preseason college AP poll, whatnot. But Joe, how are we not talking about the big weekend ahead for the silver and black? It's a humongous weekend. This
It is,
weekend in
man.
Springfield, Mass, Saturday evening, Tony Parker, Popovich, Becky Hammond, and ex-Spur Pau Gasol all get inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame this Saturday. And it should shape up to be a tremendous night. If you thought last year with Manu Ginobili getting in, he was the highlight of that session. Wait till you see this lineup. It's going to be great. We talked about this on Locked On Spurs, which is available right now. Just go to Locked On Spurs on YouTube. You can check it out. Joe, I got to ask you, why do you think Tony Parker, to this day, still gets the disrespect when it comes to him being one of the best point guards to grace an NBA court?
I don't know, man. I just don't think he's really appreciated for what he did for the San Antonio Spurs. He was an instrumental part, just like Manu Ginobili in the championship run, championship runs that they had, and winning multiple championships with the San Antonio Spurs. I think a lot of Spurs fans of old get enamored with, point guards from back in the day. You had Rocket Rod Strickland for some reason, Vinny Del Negro. You had Avery Johnson, of course, helping the San Antonio Spurs win their first chip with that corner jumper, over in the Garden at Madison Square, So those are iconic things that Spurs fans like to go back and look
at. Right. I'm bringing this up is because with Tony Parker getting inducted. So if you were to take away Tony Parker's face and his name, and I gave you his resume, just his resume, what he did on the international and NBA stage, okay, and then I give you somebody else's resume. Let's just say I give you Chris Paul's resume. So I leave Tony Parker's resume without a name, and I give Chris Paul with name his resume. I bet you 9 out of 10 times somebody will pick Parker's resume, even though they don't know it is. But the moment you reveal it's Tony Parker, it's like, oh, well, hang on here. It's always an excuse. You hear the excuse of, well, he had Manu and Timmy and Pop. Oh, he was ready on that, type of team assembled. You start hearing those excuses. You start hearing, well, he's basketball worthy. Yeah, maybe not first ballot. That was an actual discussion that he wasn't first ballot Hall of Fame worthy. It just feels that Parker doesn't get the salute that he needs to get for what he did on the international stage and the NBA stage. If you tell me that there's this NBA point guard out there who's about to get into the Hall of Fame, he's won 4 NBA titles, multiple All-Stars, won gold medals at the Eurobasket level, been to the Olympics, won a Finals MVP in 2007. Oh, and made all NBA teams. Oh, and by the way, helped usher in a foreign revolution in the NBA, influx of foreign players. I would say that's first ballot, but yet there were some that said no, that he's second ballot. And then you try to give your top point guards of NBA, sure, maybe not top 5. Okay, granted, but does he have an argument to make top 10, top 12?
I think he does, man, because when you look at what he was able to do on the biggest stages, and I believe what does he even have an MVP finals trophy, to add to the hardware. And what he was able to do for the San Antonio Spurs in the context of pushing them through some really heated playoff runs. And not only that, but when they got into the finals, playing against teams like with the Detroit Pistons, for example, you know, New Jersey going up against the New Jersey Nets with Jason Kidd, and that
Yeah.
plethora of cast that they surrounding cast that they had over there as well. New Jersey wasn't a slouch. They were a good team. They just weren't able to keep up with the greatness that was Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs. But I think it just gets overshadowed at times. The more of the focus is on looking at Tim Duncan, looking at Manu Ginobili, and what they were able to do out there on the court. And who can forget that one scene with Tony Parker when they were playing the Miami Heat, and he just kind of lost his balance, and kind of went down on one knee, still dribbling the ball, got back up, and still made the jumper.
Well, here's the thing too, Joe. When Tim Duncan's time as the man on the squad was already kind of dwindling down, he was still effective, but it was starting to shift a bit. It was Tony Parker the mantle went to. And there's a video of Timmy holding Parker at the end of the 2007 finals saying, "Thank you for leading us to this point. Thank you for guiding us." So that's from Tim Duncan. And yeah, I see that message from Wiki One. Tony's kind of a D-bag off the court socially. Fine, but we're just talking about on paper, whether his accolades make it enough for him to be Hall of Fame. Well, he obviously is. He's getting in this Saturday. But when you look at his resume, there are still some, and this baffles me. Oh, Chris Paul, he's better than Tony. Oh, Steve Nash. Oh, yeah. I pick Steve Nash over Tony Parker.
Well, look at.
You
Let's go back
still hear that.
Let's revisit that. Chris Paul better than Tony Parker. When the San Antonio Spurs were facing,
but you legit hear that stuff till today.
But I'm telling you, the reason that they say that is when they were playing the Hornets back in the day. What do they call it? The New Orleans Hornets at that time. Chris Paul obliterated Tony Parker in that series. He was much better than Tony. He looked a lot better than Tony, but he was a lot younger than Tony at that point.
Right.
But the thing is, I think Spurs fans still, for some reason, will go ahead and gauge Tony's performance overall based on one bad performance in the playoffs. And still the Spurs went on to go ahead and win that series ultimately. So it's like, even though, Chris Paul had the better series as far as outperforming Tony from the point position, Tony Parker ultimately won the battle.
Okay, that's fine. But overall impact on the NBA, if we just look at the NBA now and who did more, Tony Parker still edges out Chris Paul. And I think what it comes down to, maybe the stats, maybe the career stats are not as large as some of the other contemporaries. Mind you, Tony Parker was playing in the era of not just the era of the big man, where he led the league in points in the paint for an entire season with a Shaq and a Timmy and a Rashid and a Kevin Garnett manning the paint. He was playing well. Now, look, it's not his fault. And here's the other excuse you hear a lot, Joe, is, oh, well, he had Timmy and Manu and Pop. Well, that's not his fault. He should embrace that and take advantage of that. It's not to say that Chris Paul didn't have prime Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, and now he had Kevin Garnett, and he had Devin Booker. He had some quality players around him too, Hall of Fame worthy too. So I don't buy that argument. What do you think, Joe?
I don't really buy the argument at all as well. I think overall what Tony Parker was able to do while he was with the Spurs, not only just in the playoffs and in the NBA finals, but during the context of the regular season, and how instrumental he was to the performance of the team, how the offense flowed through Tony, and how good he was as at a point guard at the point guard position, running the offense for the San Antonio Spurs, because it was a different offense back then. And we forget how fast Tony was in the open court in the fast break.
And that's another thing that I think should be a credit to Tony, is that he played with Tim Duncan. And yeah, Tim Duncan's going to get all the touches. You have him on your squad, he's the player that's getting the touches, not Manu, not Tony. And Tony did a lot, all things considered. Now, I see Chris Gonzalez. Tony is the middle child, no love. Maybe there was a little point to that. Maybe there is that. There is, because Timmy is, the greatest Spur. Manu is one of the still beloved till today.
And then there's Tony's adopted son is Manu.
Yeah, and then there's like it feels like that. It feels like, oh, Timmy, Manu, oh yeah, Tony. That's what it feels like. But yet
Yeah.
he was so instrumental, especially when Tim Duncan was starting to decline, and the ball and the court and the focus shifted to Tony and Manu, and then it became their team practically. Um, I agree with Christopher Leha. Tony is the greatest player in the NBA of all time. Man gets no love. Okay, well, I don't go that far. One thing I will say, Joe, is Tony did not live up to expectation as a musician. Remember Balance Toi?
Oh man,
Remember
I
the
remember
rap?
that
Remember
that
remember
album.
the rap phase that he went. I was at the Alamo Dome when he rapped in front of everybody after winning a title. I was like this, cringe, just like cringe. But hey, do you remember the video to Balance Toi? I think it was shot in San Antonio,
It
and he
was bad,
used
dude.
the Silver Dancers, and it was Eva Longoria that was the target of his affections in the movie in the rap video. And they're in a San Antonio club. It may have been Sunset Station back in the day, and they're like
Dude.
going to meet each other in the middle of the dance floor. Oh my god! And
Hey,
the
look at
album
that.
cover, it was so cringe.
We have a comment here from Wiki One, and he's saying, and I agree. He says Tony has one of the top 3 teardrop shots of all time. I'll give him that. He does. That
And you
teardrop
know what?
was beautiful.
And you know what? I wish Trey Jones would spend more time with Tony Parker with that. I would
True
love for
that,
Trey Jones
man.
to develop a nice teardrop shop. Hey Joe, do we have any other advertisers we got to give a shout out to?
Yeah, but before we do that, let's give a shout out here to our boy Rudy Campos and what they're doing over there at Sweep the League. Go and follow them and check them out. Sweep the League podcast. They're on Twitter, and Rudy says, "What does Tony's career look like had he been originally drafted by Boston, like he was supposed to be? I don't know if he would have had as many championship runs,
Probably
accolades
not,
as
but
he
I think he
has
would have
in
had
San
better. He
Antonio.
would have had better stats for sure.
Yeah, he would have had
He would
better
have been
stats.
the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But who's up next and who gets some love right here on MJ Acquired Taste?
Par Realty is the next sponsor here of the Acquired Taste. We're gonna go ahead and play Mike's little take on that.
Just gotta show some love to Cynthia J. Sanchez. She is of JPAR Real Estate, proud sponsor from day one of the Acquired Taste podcast, the Acquired Taste Network. Her phone number is there, 210-273-0748. Go to realtor.com, check out her reviews, because all the people that she sells homes to give her 5 stars, that she is prompt, that she's understanding, that she communicates well, that she calls back, that she answers questions correctly, that she is smart at what she does. And we're talking about real estate. That is buying a home, selling a home, whether it be a rental property, primary residence, whether it be an Airbnb, that type of property. You can reach out to Cynthia J. Sanchez from JPAR Real Estate, 210-273-0748. We're talking about 16 years of experience in real estate. She's a badass at what she does, and she is my personal real estate agent. My last house, Cynthia J. Sanchez. I'll show the papers. If you reach out to me and say, Jimenez, prove to me that she is your real estate agent, I'll show you my lease,
Yeah.
my deed of sale, if you will. Something that shows that she was my realtor, because she really was. 210-273-0748. Does an amazing job. Former claims adjuster with USAA. So she knows what she's looking for when she's going in and showing these pre-owned homes. Cynthia J. Sanchez, 210-273-0748.
So again, go ahead and make sure you go and check out JPAR Real Estate with Cynthia J. Sanchez. And again, the number is 210-273-0748. And they are a proud sponsor of the Acquired Taste.
All right. Once again, I am Jeff Garcia. I am filling in for Mike Jimenez today, right here on the Acquired Taste YouTube show. Mike is out for today. He'll be back soon, and he'll catch you up on all things, what's going on in his life, and much, much more. And of course, Joe will be there with him. But we're talking about all things sports. We're talking about Spurs, Tony Parker. We're going to get into a very heated nerd debate in just a few minutes. We got about like 20 minutes left on the show.
Yeah. Before we get into that, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some NBA talk, Jeff. I wanted to get your take on some things that broke through here. And I'm going to share this, man. We saw him on Twitter. I saw these on Twitter earlier today. So let's talk about Paul George, man. You know the season that he's had.
Oh, good Lord.
Injury
I know where
prone.
you're going with this one.
So this has been making the rounds on social media, right? Since we're talking about Spurs and NBA. Paul George sends a message. Mark my words. I'm going to be on my bullish next season is what he says. You know,
yawn.
Do you believe that? Are you buying or selling that?
if you could put like a yawn emoji up right now, that'd be me because I'm at the point now where I gotta see it to believe it. Um, sure, see one of the better players in the league, absolutely. When he's healthy, at the right point of the season, not this. Oh, I missed a few weeks to start the season. Need him to be healthy when it counts. Now, look, um, that's good to hear. If you're a Clippers fan, you're loving that. Yay, thumbs up. But I think Clippers fans are probably would be in agreement. I gotta see it to believe it. Do you remember peak Paul George in Indiana, and
In
then the
Indy?
early years, a little bit in Oklahoma City? He was a force, and Kawhi Leonard even said that he wanted the Spurs to go chase him to bring him to San Antonio, and that didn't happen. They united in Clipperland, and haven't amounted to anything yet. Joe, I thought this whole Claw and PG-13 tandem was going to lead the Clippers to the promised land. Hasn't worked out, has it? As Spurs fans laugh at Kawhi right now.
No, the whole thing with that's going on with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Basically, Kawhi Leonard is just a part-time NBA player. They're paying him
Yeah,
big
he's a
money
rent-up player.
to always be on the bench. Always just, I don't feel like playing. I can't play on the back-to-backs. I can't play this team. I can't play that team. Oh, my leg hurts. I'm just like, why even? I mean, at that point, if you have a part-time NBA player that's really not doing
Mhm.
much for you, other than just sucking away your salary cap, you got to unload the dude, man, at some point and move on. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he can't seem to stay healthy either. And then when you go into the playoffs, you need him the most, he gets injured. I mean, it's disappointing. Ever since nephew left, he saw some success with Toronto, which I think he should have stayed over there. But he wanted the
Mhm.
big spotlight in LA, so he went over there with the Clippers. And ever
Yeah.
since then, he's never been the same.
No. No. Damaged goods. I think Claw is now damaged goods. Paul George, I think he's close to being damaged goods now. But yeah, I mean, before he snapped his leg in half, my goodness,
Jeez,
Paul
that was
George was a
brutal.
beast. Ever since then, though, and he kind of, reclaimed that glory for a while, but then, kind of been injury hit. But yeah, Clipper fans, there's something to smile about right there. He said he's going to be a bully. We shall see. What else you got up in NBA news, Joe?
Oh, and NBA news, we got a good one here, man. One of the other things that's making waves right now on social media is going to be Anthony Davis, man, and his hefty
Oh no.
contract here with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Let
Anthony
me guess.
Davis,
Did he get hurt in the offseason? It's
right?
like that. It's like that scene in Friday. How did you get fired on your day off? Did he get hurt on the offseason?
He hasn't gotten hurt yet that we heard of, but Anthony Davis has agreed to a 3-year, $186 million max contract extension
Good
that ties
lord.
him to the Lakers through 2028 for a total of 270 million plus per Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul. And he went ahead and reported that to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. The
Of
thing
course. Of course.
is somebody who is always injured really worth that much? I mean, he
No.
just can't seem to stay healthy. And he gets that nickname, Glass Man, the man
Well,
of glass.
it's appropriate. I mean, it's to the point now where even I'm not a Lakers fan, but when I see Lakers games, like playing against the Spurs, and he crumbles to the floor, I'm like, well, his season's done. That's my first knee jerk reaction is, he's done. Yeah, he's over. Season's over. And then he pops up. I'm more surprised that he pops up and gets going again versus him staying down. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. That's a lot of money. But did you see that breakdown of just how much money that Anthony Davis will be taking home because he lives just in California, like just California taxes, and not to mention federal taxes. Like I think, despite having that amount of money reported, I there's a tweet, I forget where it was, and they kind of break down like what goes where. Out of all that money, Joe, he takes home. It's still a lot of money, but 24 million. That's how much his net home is
Man,
going to be.
that's some good coin, man. That's some good money to take
That's some
home.
great coin, but that's what I'm just saying. I mean, sometimes we look at these contracts, especially in the West Coast, like California. They're sometimes hyperinflated because of the tax situation out in Cali. So, good luck, Lakers. Hopefully, he doesn't break a leg. Hopefully, he breaks a leg in a good way, not a bad way.
Yeah.
Look at
So,
some of. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say, so we can go ahead and start transitioning now as we're starting to get later on into the show.
Oh
Where
yeah,
we've been
thank you.
talking about, NFL talk. We've been talking about NBA, San Antonio Spurs news, and as Jeff was stating, you have the Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement happening on Saturday,
Mhm.
and that's going to be happening at what time? Central Standard Time.
I believe that'll be in the evening. I think the festivities start at 7 Central. It's going to be broadcasted on NBA TV. Uh, so it should be there. Should be it's going to be star studded. I mean, it's going to be huge. Talk about a class. That's Pop. That's Tony. That's Becky. That's Dwayne Wade. That's Dirk Nowitzki. I mean,
Paul
the list
Gasol.
goes on and on. Paul Gasol, yeah. So very, very high
Yeah.
profile
Why do Spurs
basketball
fans
Hall of
don't
Fame.
like Paul Gasol, man? It's like he was a former Spur. He's getting enshrined in the
Yeah.
NBA Hall of Fame, and Spurs fans are like, and I'm like, he was still
Well,
a Spur, man.
my argument too is the same thing, kind of like last year. Manu got in, but George Karl got in, and we forget that he was a former Spur, one of the original point guards of this team. So technically, two Spurs got in last year with Manu. It was George Karl and Manu Ginobili. Hey, speaking of Tony Parker, really fast, he's the greatest point guard in Spurs history, right? He is, right?
He has to be,
There's no
man.
doubt about it.
He has the hardware and the accolades to go along with that, to show that he is the best point guard that the
Yeah.
San Antonio Spurs have ever had up to this
Okay.
point,
So who's your number? Who's your number two then?
Oh man, number 2 is a hard one, dude. You have just, if you're going back for nostalgia, you're going back
Yeah.
and you're looking at Rocket Rod, Rod Strickland, you're going
No.
looking at Avery Johnson,
Yeah.
but the problem is that Avery Johnson was actually able to win a chip with the Spurs,
Yeah.
Rocket Rod, for all the flash and everything, he never was able to win the big game. We have that infamous video that circulates on social media where you can see what he did at the end of the game with the Portland Trailblazers. That's now infamous for him just throwing the ball, lobbing it, throwing it in the air, and it's landing half court, going nowhere.
What I was watching that live as a kid, and I was like breaking my heart. By the way, real quick, Rudy Campos, I saw your message there on that guy Anthony Davis gets injured, blinking his eyes. Absolutely, you cannot trust him whatsoever. But no, on number 2 on my list is Captain Late. I think Captain Late is number 2.
True that. Look at Drew. The most talented point guard in Spurs history was Rod Strickland. Man, only if he stayed out of parking lots. True that, brother.
I don't think Avery Johnson is top 5. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's 5 at minimum, because I think I got Tony, obviously, Captain Late. I would put George Karl up there. Johnny Moore.
Johnny Moore, definitely. Dude.
Johnny Moore, and then maybe Avery right there. You know what could have been? Imagine if DeJounte had stayed. Could he had made an argument for being one of the best point guards in Spurs history if he had stayed?
Look, man, for all the hate and the flack that DeJounte gets, he could have been a good point guard for the San Antonio Spurs.
He was on the right path.
I'm saying good. I don't know if he would have been great here. I think he would have been good.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he would have gotten the notoriety that he deserved playing here in the small market with San Antonio. I think he knew what he wanted to do, and letting the Spurs know that he wanted to not sign a contract extension and for them to do the best they could with him and move him somewhere else. So
he got his wish.
Yeah, he got his wish.
He got his wish.
So let's go ahead and start talking about some of the nerd talk, man.
Yeah, get that entertainment thing going on. I like when you do it for Jimenez. Can you do it for me, Joe?
Entertainment news? All right. Let me see where it's at. Give me a second here.
Okay, let's see. Go, Joe. Go. Let's everybody peer pressure him. Find it. Look at that. Awesome. You are a man. You are a wizard when it comes to these kind of graphics. But entertainment news quickly. Did you know David Beckham and his wife Victoria Beckham were in Texas and Dallas? They're going to go in for they were there. They're in Dallas for a Messi game. Surprising, shocking. Messi's taking over the MLS. It looks unstoppable. But I forgot that David Beckham's wife was a Spice Girl. I keep forgetting that. To me, she's always been like that. Posh Spice, yeah. I always played the long game. I always went with Sporty Spice. So I was in
you let's get this honest, because one of the guys was saying I need to bring the cochino out of Jeff Garcia, and I said Jeff Garcia likes some girls that are built for speed, not for comfort.
Well, then are you shocked that I picked Sporty Spice?
Not at all.
Nobody should be shocked.
Not at all.
But yeah, I wanted to play the long game with that one. If you look now, a lot better. That's all I'm gonna say. A
Oh
lot
Lord.
better than it was back in the day. Okay, now I'm really gonna like tick off nerd fans right now. So first of all, everybody, you don't know, I'll be hosting the big Texas Con later on this year in San Antonio.
That's
So
some pretty big news there. You know, you're going to be hosting the
yeah, I'm
big
hosting it.
Texas Comic Con,
Yes, I
and
am.
where are they going to be hosting that convention? Downtown somewhere, right?
Yeah, Henry B. Yeah, they're going to be at Henry B. I did the first ever San Antonio Anime Con. For those of y'all who listen to Locked On Spurs, and I'm not kidding, Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z introduces the show from time to time. Not kidding.
Nice.
Yeah, even Tanjiro from Demon Slayer introduces the show from time to time. But so that was a great experience. I did a really good job. So then the big Texas Comic Con found out. They said, "Hey, can you host our 3-day event?" I went, "Sure, no problem. I'll be doing that." But I want to tick off nerd fans right now, especially Transformer fans. So we always give Jimenez some crap about never reviewing Transformers 86. But if you missed it, yesterday was Transformers 86 movie's birthday. Happy birthday, Transformer 86. The movie where all us nerds lost our innocence when Optimus Prime died. Shocked everybody.
And
Shocked
they
everybody.
got rid of my little brother too, man. Ratchet, he didn't make it, man.
Man, he got smoked, man.
He got
He
smoked
got
bad.
smoked, like literally smoked bad. Um, But by the way, I have an issue with that too. Like, how are you supposed to be these super sophisticated robots with all this technology, and this ship couldn't even detect that they're having an invasion into their ship? That's a whole other story there. But 86 gave us the infamous death of Optimus Prime. A lot of us kids were crying in the theater. Still torments us till today. Who lived it? Joe still cries when he sees Prime turn to dust or gray in this situation. But I always have this debate with Transformers fans, especially us older ones. If you look at the final fight, just the final fight, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. The last fight between Optimus Prime and Megatron. I contend that Megatron got the best of him and he beat Prime. Now, people ask me, like, well, why do you say that? How dare you go against Prime? Joe, last I checked, even his own teammate Perceptor said, yeah, the fight that he got into with Megatron, all that beat up he took, he done. How do you all not see that Prime lost the fight to Megatron and Megatron was a dog and survived it?
He got his ass handed to him too. He got jacked up. But
No,
the
he
thing
did.
was,
But that's where I go. Yes, I'm not discounting what Prime did to
yeah,
Megatron. Yeah, Megatron got beat up, but
he almost died.
who had more dog in him? Who survived?
Yeah, no, it
Who
was just
technically
Megatron.
survived?
Megatron was always more vicious. Prime was held back, and that's what got him killed.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of the whole movie was when they had Megatron in the back of that triple transformer, the one that
Yeah.
transformed from the train to the tank
Yeah.
and then to the space shuttle. So he's in space shuttle mode. They're in outer space, and Megatron's there dying, speaking his last breath. And what does Starscream do? My boy Starscream, the opportunist
Take
that
your
he
boy.
is, takes him out, and Megatron's like, I still function. And he
Yeah.
freaking kicks him out by his face.
Yeah,
And
he
he's like,
tells him
bye.
what bet. But that's my thing. If you look at if you're gonna like Joe, you like boxing, you like MMA. What do they have? They have CompuBox, significant strikes, counts, all that stuff. Who landed more significant strikes? It was Megatron.
Man, Megatron.
Who,
Look at the
who
Drew show.
literally gutted Prime open? It was Megatron.
Yeah, Drew show says I was 15 in 86. I'm not going to Transformers movie or crying in any movie. I agree with him too, because I watched this movie and I saw Prime die. I didn't cry once, man. I didn't shed one tear.
Also, too, I want to go back to the fight because I ain't laying this down. And I know some of these guys don't want to admit it, that they know Prime got his ass handed to him. Megatron took Prime's best hits and still survived like a dog. He still survived. He took Prime's best and was the last man literally speaking, and would live long enough to see himself get redone into Galvatron.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe, am I speaking any lies here? I don't think I am. If you look just at the fight itself, who won?
No, man, it was Megatron that won that fight. He killed the brother, man. I mean, what else do you want?
He put him in his robotic grave.
Yeah.
He put him in it, and then You got bum ass Hot Rod, who was the worst Autobot leader ever.
Ultra
Ever.
Magnus.
Nah, he should have gone to him. That's my boy. That's a leader right there. But oh,
Hot Rod
Joe,
was anyone.
maybe
He was a one-off. I never really saw much of him other than after the
Hot Rod.
movie.
Did you know? Did you know this never broadcasted in the Americas? But in Japan, there was a season that bridged the final arc in the United States into the movie and introduced a lot of the characters that they just threw at us
Yeah.
in the movie in '86. So for that, there was an introduction to Hot Rod. There was an introduction to Cup. There was an introduction to Ultra Magnus, and even the other side too. There was an introduction to Soundwave's new tapes. Rat Bat. There was all that. There was a build up to that season. There was even an episode where they built Autobot City where they had the final battle.
Yeah.
So it's on YouTube. If everyone wants to check it out, it's all dubbed, but it's really good bridge between the two. And
Yeah.
Jacob, Eric, you're right. He wanted to rip out his optics.
Yeah.
He out trash talked Optimus Prime. He out trash talked him, and don't give me this whole Hot Rod interfered. That ain't Megatron's fault. Hey, all love is fair in a fight, isn't it? Isn't all things fair in love and war? Last I checked, that wasn't on Megatron. He just took an opportunity to get the best of him.
Freaking Rudy, man, it's got me cracking up over here. Hot Rod.
All right, let's see it.
Viagra because he lasted longer than Ultra as leader.
Hey, Rudy, chime in. Who do you think won, Prime or Megatron, in the '86 fight?
Yeah,
just the '86 fight.
Yeah, before we start getting
hey, Rudy, I'm sorry, Joe, real fast. Let's not say it. Even in the Bay and the Netflix movies, it shows Prime still getting his butt whooped.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey, before we start bringing things to a close here, let's go ahead and give a shout out to one of our other sponsors here in Serenity Manor.
One of our other sponsors, Serenity Manor, which is an events venue on Old Bandera Road across from Flora's Country Store. Serenity Manor, I love going out there. The next time they have a karaoke night, which is not going to be this Thursday, but it's going to be next Thursday, I want to go. Jason Garcia, one of our listeners, asked the question on YouTube the other day, was I able to go out last week? And I wasn't able to, but I'm going to make the attempt next Thursday to go out to Serenity Manor to go check out the karaoke out there. Serenity Manor is a social events venue. It is a historic building over 100 years old. It is on Old Bandera Road. It's diagonal, catty corner to Flora's Country Store. And there you can have baby showers, bridal showers, quinceañeras, sweet 16s, corporate events, weddings. There's an indoor and outdoor venue when it comes to it. It's a very, very beautiful place. It's very historic. The outdoor area, I know it's hot, right? It's hot right now.
It is.
But, you can do things outside, and especially if you're planning for something in the fall or the spring where it's beautiful and you want to be close to San Antonio, but still get that hill country vibe because there's nothing behind them, right? It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful view out there. Now, inside, they have a bar that serves beer, wine, and margaritas. So after the concerts at Flora's, you can go over there, grab a beer, get away from the crowd, check out the place, check out the venue. Or on Thursday nights, they have game nights. I think this Thursday, they're going to have a game night, trivia night. And then next Thursday, they'll have karaoke. It's a family-oriented type of place. You don't have to worry about whether or not it's dangerous or people getting fall over drunk. It's not that type of place. It's a very chill place to go hang out. It's a beautiful place. It's, Helotes is wonderful. I used to live in Helotes. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's just very family-oriented. They have a really nice outdoor area if you want to go ahead and have a family get-together, quince or whatever in the evening, when it's not so hot.
Yeah.
With all the lights and stuff in the back. And they have a dance floor. They even have looks like a volleyball
Yep, the sand volleyball
out
in the back.
there. Yeah, so
yeah,
setup.
They've shown videos to us of concert performances. They had a jazz band do a performance out there. So it's a high school jazz band that performed out there, and they made it like their concert venue. And then everyone went inside for refreshments. It's a very interesting place out there. I really do enjoy it. But we'll be back out there next Thursday. Joe, I don't know. We're going to have to convince some people to go out there and sing a song or two. I got to come up with another song.
Maybe you get CT to sing with you.
CT, I think, would like the alcohol first. Okay, this is beer and wine. Okay.
All right, so there you go. Go and check out our good friends over here at Serenity Manor, and the address is there on the screen. Serenity Manor at 405 Old Bandera Road in Helotes, Texas, and the zip code is 78023. And as we go ahead and bring this show to a close here, I want to thank Jeff Garcia for stepping in for one Mike Jimenez, who will be back soon. And we also want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to what's happening. Probably it's going to be premiering next week, is going to be the Blue Beetle. So my boys over here
Yes.
at the Countdown City Geekcast
Yes.
are going ahead and they're going to be part of a big event that's going to be happening here on August the 15th on Tuesday. So they've been invited to come out here and be part of this event that I believe the motion picture company is going to be having out here. And it's Warner Brothers Pictures. And it's going to be at the Arneson River Theater. So it's kind of like a first come, first serve. So the event's going to start at 6 p.m. It goes from 6 to 8. They have live entertainment, free food and beverages, special gifts, trailer showings, and many more surprises. So they might have some other people making appearances there. And it's happening at the Arneson River Theater at 418 Violeta Street, San Antonio, Texas, 78205. And I'm going to go ahead and show the graphic here so you can go ahead and see it in all its glory. And you can go ahead and scan the QR code for your free tickets. So make sure you go ahead and check this out over at the Countdown City Geeks Twitter page. But Jeff, this is some big news as we bring the show to a close here, that we're going to finally have representation on the big screen. We're going to have a Latino on the big screen.
You know what?
Representing their family as well.
And you know what I fear the most? And that's two things. One, it's a DC movie, so we know how that can possibly go.
Yeah.
Two, that Jimenez will bash on it, and his Mexican card could possibly, or his Hispanic card could get more pull than what it probably is right now. Can you imagine if he bashes this?
He needs to watch out, man, because this is the first time
I suspect that he will bash it.
We're actually going to have somebody that looks like us, man. Oh, look at, and Rudy says, Prime lost. There is no debate. And that's true. I agree with Rudy.
He lost. Yeah. There's no. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Blue Beetle. You're right. The representation. It's the Jaime Reyes version. There were other previous Blue Beetles before. I'm really nerding out now. Before this current version of Blue Beetle. But I mean, talk about accuracy. It looks comic accurate. His look. The suit looks accurate. Where it's placed on his body is accurate. It's an Hispanic guy that's accurate. So I'm looking high for it, but after the Flash movie, it's just a DC thing. I'm like, I don't know anymore. Yikes.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I think it's still going to be a good film. I have high hopes for it, and again, this is something I've been waiting for a long time. I know you had as well. So hopefully,
did you know the actor was in San Antonio recently?
Oh yeah, he was in for the Hispanic.
The Hispanic Awards. Yeah, he was in San Antonio recently. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the director, I believe, was over in Austin because my boys from Countdown City Geeks went over there, and they were able to go ahead and take pictures and get some stuff signed and autographed by some of the people that work behind the scenes on the Blue Beetle. And one last thing here that I'm going to share real quick before we go ahead and put the show to an end is one of my boys over here, Daniel. He's part of the Countdown City Geekcast. He's going to be part of a comic convention here that's going to be happening over in the Corpus Christi area between Corpus and Rockport, Texas. It's right smack in the middle. Portland. So go check out CadabraCon. They're going to have a lot of guests out there that are voice actors that you recognize from some beloved shows of yours, including Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, and also Avatar, the Last Airbender. So make sure you go and check out CadabraCon. Go ahead and give them some love. And as you see here, you can go ahead and check them out on their website at cadabracon.com. So Jeff, want to again thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to go ahead and host the show and stepping in for Mike Jimenez. And,
by the way, when are you going to become the next Blue Beetle?
That's what I want to have a suit big enough for me, man.
You need to become the next Blue Beetle.
I'd look like an M&M if I put on that Blue Beetle costume.
Yeah, like you'll be like the blue pill bug.
The blue bug.
The blue pill bug, the little roly poly.
Exactly. I look like a pill. I'd look like a blue pill, like a Viagra pill or something, brother. Come on.
Yeah. No, I'll get into that. Yeah, good stuff. CadabraCon, go there. So many things happening in San Antonio. Wemby season is upon us. All things are looking good in San Antonio. Again, everybody, I want to thank you for hopping on the MJ Acquired Taste Show. I am Jeff Garcia, filling in for Mike Jimenez today. He should be back tomorrow. Hopefully, if not, more than likely we'll fill in. but he will be back soon. And again, shout out to everybody who tuned in, everybody commenting, from Rudy Campos, Jacob to everybody just here. So we appreciate you. And MJ Acquired Taste will be back tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll see you guys later. Peace.